It did not even occur to me until later that night. I was like, wait a second. What if he made all of that up to get out of the date early?
Women are beginning to realize that men are walking away from relationships, dating, marriage, and looking to do just about anything to find their peace and maintain their peace. And this is the result of changing times and how poorly men are treated in society. Let's just jump right into the video.
Men don't approach women anymore. So historically, women have always waited for men to make the first move. Is he going to go in for the kiss? Is he going to hold my hand? But now, whenever I talk to my friends about their dating history, all I hear them talking about is, oh, he hasn't made a move. He's not doing anything. We're not moving forward. So on the flip side of this normally ends up in men feeling like they're getting ghosted, or that there's just being told there's no spark. And from what I'm hearing from a lot of my clients, it's not because that you're not attracted to her. It's more about fearing that you're either going to get rejected, maybe you're going to get turned down, slapped in the face when you go for that first move, or even worse, like getting in trouble with the law. So you need to ask yourself, does this sound like you? The truth is, you probably missed that golden opportunity to create that spark. And she likely was giving you signals that you just didn't quite catch.
Now, as you can see, guys, this is just a complete game for most modern women. Women don't understand why men are walking away, why men are no longer dating, why men don't want to jump into relationships. No matter how bad things get, women continue to keep pushing. And of course, there are simps out there who are saying that they don't think that men walking away, or MGTOWs, men going their own way, are even real men. The sad truth is that these people do not like us. They don't like us, and they don't want us. The reality is they simply need us. They need our resources. They need our labor, but they absolutely detest us. They HATE us, and it is ongoing and nonstop. It's a sad reality, and the only thing men can do is to just walk away. This doesn't mean that you never get married or that you never have children, unless that's the choice that you choose to make. But it means that you go where you are celebrated, you go where you are appreciated, you go where you are celebrated. You don't stick around and be selfless like these people say that you need to be, because they just want your attention, your time, and your money, but they don't actually want you.
Here's some crazy research for you. So, a third of men, 33%, a little over a third of men between the ages of 18 and 29 are not only single, but they're not actively looking for a partner. The same study said that by the year 2030, that 45% of women between the ages of 20 and 45 will be single. So I've got a question for the men, because I see it all the time in my comments. Most of my comments are filled with guys saying we're done. We're not looking. We like our peace. I need some more talk from you guys. Tell me why you're done. Tell me why you don't want to have a partner in life. Tell me why it's more worth it to be single than to have a partner. Even if you weren't to remarry, just to have a partner. I mean, I've talked to a lot of men. I've got my answers, but I want to hear it in the comments. So please, drop it in the comments.
She said she's talked to a lot of men, she has her answers, and yet she's still asking for more. Women know the reasons why men are walking away, but they cannot accept them. They cannot accept hearing that men are done. The sad truth, and this is something that is frightening and freaking out, you can see it even in the churches, the pastors. These men are no longer interested in physical intimacy. These men are no longer interested in women. These men are no longer interested in dating and relationships. The truth is that when these people, the simps, women say these things, oh, men are at home just looking at adult content and playing video games. They don't understand that if you take away, there's a lot of men who are avoiding adult content entirely. The no fap guys, the guys who are maintaining celibacy. There are guys who don't play video games at all. There are my buddies, the mountain men. A lot of these guys live in the hills, and they're happy on a cell phone. And there's some of them. I've heard multiple mountain dudes or guys living in the woods say that they're going to get rid of the phone too. They love their peace. This is one of the reasons why I don't really want to run into these guys. All right? That's not my place. That's not my lane. I'm staying in my lane. If you don't know the woods, if you don't know the hills, stay out of the mountains, stay out of the woods. People think it's a game. It's not. These people don't comprehend, that are saying that, the reason why men are doing these things is because, they don't want to be masculine, or they don't want to take responsibility and accountability. If you were to ban video games, take away video games from men, if you were to strip men of everything, what you would end up with would be men who would just walk away from it all, just like the monks did. They would wear very simple clothing. They would eat very simple food, whatever is given to them. Many would begin eating only one time a day. They would reduce their intake to very little, maintaining good health, and they would sit and begin to meditate and focus on the world within them, enjoying their peace and walking away from the world. This is something people don't understand about monks. True monks, like real monks, like these Buddhist monks that walk away from society and live in the monasteries and sometimes even in the mountains. These men have walked away. They walk away from the stress of everyday life. They disengage from responsibility. The only thing that these men will do is defend themselves at best. Think about it carefully. They'll train, and if anyone comes and messes with them, they can defend themselves. But beyond that, they're not doing anything else. They set up their homes, their temples, and it's nice and clean. They're self-sufficient, so they grow their own food. Everyone has a job, so they have purpose, and they remove distractions. And they live in peace, and they have no interest in helping society. They're not providing anything of real value to society. These are men who have walked away. Not only walked away, these men in many cases are MGTOWs, as they have chosen to separate themselves from society and relationships. This is crazy. Many of you may not believe it, but a lot of these men, when they're meditating, the way that they're able to overcome physical desire is during that meditation process, they're allowing those desires to flow. All right? And they just allow them to happen, and they get used to it, and they're like, okay, it's happening. Okay. And eventually, the desires no longer control them. They learn how to allow desires to come and go instead of fighting them. They don't go against the grain. And these men become powerful. But you have to understand, if all men did these things, we would have no society or a world. These are men who are choosing to live separate from society, separate from relationships. So they're not getting into relationships with women. They're not having relationships with women. They're not having children. They have no desire of having children. They're not protecting their countries. They're not producing anything for anyone other than themselves. It's crazy. If men went down this path, there would be nothing. And yes, and I'll tell you right now, the pastors would be furious, because you take away the video games, you take away adult content, you take away the things that they're complaining about and saying that men are doing. And if men basically just went, monk, straight 100% monk, like Buddhist monks, and said, I love Jesus, I'm just living a simple life, a humble life. The Bible says that, if you could do without a woman, then you should do so. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm just going to focus and meditate upon God. And, these men would be condemned. They would be condemned by the church. They'd be condemned by the pastors, because it's a big scheme. It's a scheme to extract wealth and resources from men. They don't actually give a damn about the men. They care about the men's money. And if the men are walking away from relationships, from dating, from the church, from religion, then there's no money for these organizations, and they go completely broke, because men pay the majority of all tithes and offerings.
Think young guys are doing with their time and energy? Porn, social media, video games, the beast, the false prophet, and the antichrist. That's what they're doing. Single guys in your 20s, here's what we know. 68% of guys in their 20s today are not dating a woman, not intending to date a woman, have no actual interest in a relationship with a female, and are making no movement toward marriage whatsoever. The last few years, a lot of young men just moved home with their mother. They have no intention of ever moving out until they can find a girlfriend in her 20s or 30s with a good job and low expectations. And then their hope is to move into her house and have her pick up where mom left off. And what these are generational curses and bad patterns that are destroying young men. Destroying young men. And today, young men are an endangered species. And everything in our culture is to absolutely remove their masculinity and to ruin their legacy.
You mean Sibs? Sibs are beginning to become an endangered species, all right? Because they need the Sims to keep the scam going. And as more men walk away and say, we're just going to chill and enjoy our peace, that means less money for the thieves. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the content on the channel, consider checking out my newsletter. I release it every week. And there's a link in the description to the video, to the newsletter if you want to sign up for it. You'll get my personal thoughts and insights. So just go and look in the description for that link. Also join the Angry Guy community over on Locals. You can find it by going to angrygalaxy.com if you want to support the channel or get access to exclusive content. I mean, guys, it's ridiculous that this is happening when men are tired of the BS in the games.
Date the other day, and we were supposed to go get tacos and then go and eat the tacos at this free concert in the park. And we're at the taco place, and he starts like continuously checking his phone, and he's complaining about work and his boss, and is like, ugh, like my boss is emailing me right now. Like if this escalates, I might have to go into work. So we get the tacos, we go to the park, and we lay our blanket out, and we're laying there, and he keeps bringing up work. I was like, if you need to go, like it's fine, we can go, it's okay. And he's like, are you sure? I'm so sorry, I feel so bad. And I'm like, no, it's fine. So I get home, and I'm kind of annoyed because like I took the time to get ready, I looked cute, and the drive was 30 minutes away, so it was an hour round trip there and back. And so I'm like, that was a royal waste of my time. But at the same time, I was like, I feel really bad for him. Like, that sucks that his work is so demanding that he's getting called into meetings to work at like 8:30 at night. It did not even occur to me until later that night. I was like, wait a second, what if he made all of that up to get out of the date early? Like, I don't think that was true. I don't think his boss was emailing him. I literally think he just wanted an excuse to get out of the date. That's never happened to me before, and so it did not even cross my mind as a possibility. And now he hasn't texted me for a few days, and I'm like, damn, like he got me. He got me.
Yeah. Men are, and she's a pretty girl. Men are looking for every reason just to run away. They're saying, yeah, this isn't worth it. I'd rather be at home playing video games, watching TV, watching Netflix, relaxing, having a cool drink, listening to music, and just enjoying my life. One of the things that's occurring right now with men in Western society is a lot of men are beginning to lose physical attraction towards women. We don't talk about it, but it's something that's happening. It was something that was observed during the mouse utopia, where you had the beautiful ones emerging, a group of mice that basically just sat around eating, sleeping, and pooping and enjoying and living their best lives. They were not competing for the females, and they were not interested in relationships with really anyone. They didn't socialize, and they were not trying to get laid. And even when they were removed from the mouse utopia and put into an environment where this behavior was no longer where, there was not like a lot of, social roles hadn't all been filled, and this type of antisocial behavior was not observed in these societies, they still refused to associate or to associate with anyone or to re-engage in reproductive behavior. And this is what's happening with men right now. People don't realize that a lot of men are no longer interested in reproduction. They're no longer interested in physical intimacy. They're not watching adult content. There's a lot of the guys I talked to in the comments who are not playing video games. Like they're not working anymore. Like, they never had children. They never got married. Some of these are former military vets, so they're collecting checks all over the place. They're getting a check from the military. They get a check from the military. Sometimes they may have a disability, so they may be getting another check from disability. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You've got guys collecting $6,000-$7,000 a month just laying in bed, and they don't plan. They're not going anywhere. They're like, I already did my time, and they're not working anymore, and they don't have to work anymore. And these men, they don't the money. Like, for example, They buy a house, or they buy a mobile home, or they buy a camper or whatever, and they live in it very cheap, or they rent there's something very small, and they like their expenses are low. So there are a lot of guys who are not even spending $1,000 a month in total expenses. So they're spending so little money every month, they're almost living for free. And everything is a one-time purchase. Even if they go and purchase video games and all of these things, they're not financed. PlayStation 5 is only $600. That's nothing for a single man who has his life together. $600. If I'm making $6,000 a month, even $3,000 a month, and I go and I buy PlayStation 5, that's a one-time purchase. I purchased it 2, 3, 4, 4 years ago. What now? PlayStation 5 came out 4 years ago. And a lot of these dudes are like, don't even give a damn. Most 56% of gamers right now are still on PlayStation 4 and haven't upgraded and have no intention in upgrading. So a lot of these guys, they may be playing a PlayStation 4 that they purchased almost 10 years ago. 10 years ago. And they're not going to upgrade. And they're playing all the brand new games, and they're living their best lives, or they have a gaming PC and they're playing Steam, or they don't even play games at all. They're just watching movies and relaxing. Some dudes are playing Atari. Some dudes are just listening to music. Some dudes aren't doing any of that. They just lay in bed, get out of bed, go around the house, eat when they want to, and just lay around and do nothing. Maybe go outside into the backyard. And they're isolating at home, and that's it. And they have money coming in from investments sometimes as well. And because they have nothing to spend money on, either it sits in the bank or they just start buying crypto for fun, and they don't care if they lose all of the money, and they don't care if they lose all of the money that they invest, because they have nothing else to spend money on. And for men, for the typical man, simplicity is luxury. So men like to live simple lives. There are some guys who are like, oh, they like to buy lots of garbage that they don't need. But men are minimalist by nature. The average man is a minimalist by nature, and when they can reduce the amount of waste in their lives, and they don't have to worry about a ton of different things, life is good for them. Life is very, very good for them. You have guys who are now trying to look poor so that people leave them the hell alone. Like, that's a big thing right now with men. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. It's a Gen X thing, and more men are adopting this trail of thought. Leave me alone. I just want to be left alone. And when men start walking away from society, society starts going and looking for them. You have men who are going out to the woods to go live in the woods, and then you've got the state coming to look for them out there. Like, no, you can't live here. You can't live out here. Why can't I live out here? It's public land. I'm all the way out here in the woods. I'm not bothering anyone. No one even knows I'm here. It doesn't matter, because they drag you back to society, knowing that if more and more people start doing this, then there's no tax revenue for these people. That's really just the situation, guys. That's really just the situation. What do you guys think regarding all of this? He lied to her to get out of their date. Let me know what you guys think, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA Men walking away. And cheers.